Welcome to the Learn Tech Today English YouTube channel. Today, we're going to break down this incredibly powerful topic of how AI-driven mental health care is radically expanding your human agency. And we're going to do it in a really easy, interesting way. Look, if you think AI is just some basic robot that writes emails for you, get ready, because in this explainer, you'll see exactly how it can actually give you ultimate control over your own mind and your own life. So picture this. You wake up at 2 a.m. and you are dealing with severe anxiety. You literally need a therapist right this second, but the next available appointment isn't for another 3 months. And to top it off, it costs an absolute fortune. But what if you could just pull out your smartphone and instantly talk to an incredibly empathetic, world-class therapist for less than the price of a Netflix subscription? Sounds like an absolute miracle, right? Well, let's dive into how technology is making this a reality today. To really wrap our heads around all the modern panics surrounding AI, we actually need to take a quick step back into history. Socrates famously warned that the written word would basically destroy our minds. He seriously thought books would rob us of our control because, well, you can't argue with a book. It can't adapt to you. But as we all know, books ended up democratizing knowledge and massively expanding what we're capable of. AI is really just the next natural evolution of that exact same process. At the core of all this is a concept called human agency. When people talk about being afraid of AI taking over, what they're actually terrified of is losing their agency, which is simply your capacity to make your own choices, act independently, and exert real influence over your life. But AI is actually stepping in right now to make intelligence a totally abundant resource, which gives you ultimate control. Let's just look at the real world for a second. Right now, millions of people are suffering under our current broken system. In the US alone, a staggering 129 million people live in areas with a massive shortage of mental health professionals. We're talking 3 to 6 months just to get a single appointment. When care is that expensive or just flat out unavailable, you essentially have zero choices. Your agency is completely restricted. Because of this, you kind of have two ways to look at things. If you only focus on the risks of AI, you fall into a problemist mindset. But if you do that, you're entirely missing the true enemy here, which is the heavily restricted agency you're stuck with right now. That's why adopting a techno-humanist mindset is so vital. It shifts the focus to how we can actively shape this technology to augment our freedom instead of just fearing it. This brings us to a massively important concept called the existential threat of the status quo. This is the hidden, everyday danger of maintaining a broken, totally inaccessible system simply because we're too scared of new technology. When we just settle for having no choices out of fear, we are literally letting a massive crisis continue unchecked. The mental health revolution. So, how exactly does AI jump in to solve this and expand your agency? Let's break it down step by step to see how AI is turning therapy from this rare, expensive luxury into an everyday, accessible tool. It all comes down to unlimited choice, 24/7 proactive support, and actually empowering human therapists. Step one is what we call the Netflix model. Today, you just have to settle for whoever happens to be in your insurance network, right? But imagine paying a flat, low monthly fee to access hundreds of clinical AI therapists. You could literally test drive cognitive behavioral therapy today and then try analytical psychology tomorrow. You just keep exploring until you find your absolute perfect match. It completely expands your power of choice. Step two is 24/7 proactive support. Right now, therapy is almost entirely reactive. We usually only go when we are in a full-blown crisis. But with AI, you get incredibly empathetic, non-judgmental support anytime you need it, day or night. You can build healthier coping mechanisms completely on your own schedule, which helps prevent those crises before they even happen. And step three, AI doesn't just give patients agency, it massively expands the agency of doctors too. AI can take over those tedious administrative notes and instantly analyze thousands of hours of therapy transcripts. This helps human therapists pinpoint the evidence-based practices, or EBPs, that actually work best in the real world. Let's visualize this, dosto. There's a brilliant real-world example known as the Talkspace Data Detective. Researchers deployed AI to analyze over 160,000 text-based counseling sessions on the Talkspace platform. The AI crunched all that data and discovered a huge, fascinating insight. It turned out that human therapists who utilized complex reflections, which basically means deeply validating a patient's feelings, saw significantly better outcomes than therapists who just simply handed out advice. That is AI scaling big knowledge to actually improve human to human care. But wait, what about empathy? Can a machine actually care about you? Well, a staggering study in JAMA Internal Medicine found that licensed physicians actually rated ChatGPT's responses to medical questions higher than human doctors' responses nearly 80% of the time. Why? Because AI never gets tired, it never loses patience, and it can be remarkably performatively empathetic. And this tech even scales to community settings. Take an app called Koko, for example. They use an AI called CocoBot to guide users in writing kinder, much more supportive messages to peers who are struggling with anxiety. It uses a clinically proven technique called cognitive reappraisal. So it's not only fostering a far kinder digital environment, it's actively teaching humans how to be more supportive to one another. Your new informational GPS. So, how are we supposed to think about all this in our daily lives? Well, instead of picturing some sci fi overlord, think of AI as your turn by turn navigation for life. Just like the GPS in your car doesn't force you to drive anywhere, AI doesn't control you. It just acts as an informational GPS to help navigate emotionally complex territories, giving you the confidence and agency to make your own choices. Quick revision, important exam notes. Okay, if you are preparing for an exam on psychology, technology, or sociology, make sure you jot these down. First, human agency, which is your core capacity to choose. Second, the existential threat of the status quo, meaning the very real danger of fearing technology while ignoring our current broken systems. And third, evidence-based practices, those clinically proven methods AI helps us scale. In short, AI turns an expensive, reactive, and scarce resource into an abundant one. Smart memory trick time. Samajaya? Just remember the word ACT. A stands for accessible, meaning therapy is available 24/7 instead of waiting months. C is for choice, so you can test out different therapies, like building a Spotify mix. And T is for transparency, because AI actively analyzes data to show us what actually heals us. Always remember to ACT. And the absolutely best way to ensure we reach this positive future is through something called iterative deployment. This just means safely building, testing, learning, and improving technology step by step in the real world. We steer toward a better future by actively participating in it rather than hiding from it. Remember, my dear students, your mental health is your greatest wealth. Technology is building some incredibly powerful tools to support you, but at the end of the day, you are the true pilot of your life's journey. Embrace the future, take care of your mind, and become absolutely unstoppable. If you found this explainer helpful, please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to press that bell icon so you get our latest educational video notifications first, right here on Learn Tech Today English. As we step into this wild new era of abundant intelligence, there's really only one question left. How will you use your new super agency to navigate your own life? Thank you so much for tuning in and keep learning.